this is an absolutely massive contract extension.
Explain the details to people, because he had 2 years left on his deal. So are we tacking on the extra 4? Are they tearing it up? What do we got going on?
So
here?
it is the third largest guarantee for a receiver in NFL history.
82 and change.
Behind Justin Jefferson and A.J. Brown. Total value of the contract, it's 5th most in NFL history. And it is a contract. So it ends in 2029. So it is an extension of his deal. But what I think is the most interesting is how proactive they were in doing this.
Because the timing's interesting. You've got Keenan Allen with 1 year left on his deal, DJ Moore with 2, and obviously Rome Odunze on a rookie deal.
And Caleb Williams on a rookie deal. But to me, all of those things matter. But this wasn't on my radar for this offseason. Normally it's, I've got 1 year left on my deal. Mm-hmm. Are you going to extend me, or are we going to play the restricted free agency game, the franchise tag game? Are we going to have a holdout with a year left on a deal to get more money? This is Ryan Poles saying, I don't want to risk a CeeDee Lamb situation. I don't want to risk a Brandon Ayuk situation. I am just going to say this guy is a great football player who also is a great locker room person, as he referenced in the statement that he put out.
A great practicer. They love the way that guy practices.
So, hey, the price only goes up because the cap in the NFL goes up every year, and the players have a CBA, collectively bargained, percentage of the cap. So that's why in the NFL, Pat Mahomes doesn't get the most money every year, because it's when you sign your contract. You don't reset the value on the total value of the contract, but in terms of APY, average dollars per year.
Yeah.
The guy who signs the contract the most recently is the highest paid.
Yeah, with Trevor Lawrence, I think, is at number 2 right now.
He shouldn't be there, though.
Right.
It should be me every year. I'm the best one.
You are the best one.
We agree, Pat.
And you have
Thanks for coming by during camp.
No problem. Yeah, I like to be here with you guys. You guys know that.
Pat, didn't you have an escalator clause in your contract that says
I don't ride escalators. That's part of the contract.
That's what it is. I thought you had to be the highest paid player.
I'm a no-go in escalator. You saw what happened to the guys at CHGO in Milwaukee? I'm a no escalator guy. Always have been.
Didn't know you followed that story,
Yeah,
Pat.
Nick Mariano. I follow him. And Braggs, he used to be in the stands. Now he's in the studio.
That's amazing. I thought it was an Escalade clause. No, that's what I thought it was.
That's that car. We don't deal. I'm a Suburban guy. I'm a Chevy Suburban guy.
People get very confused about the clauses in his contract.
That's true. You can't afford me. There ain't no Saturday clause.
But the idea of Ryan Poles just being like, I'm avoiding a future problem, and I can afford to do this now. And yeah, it's a record-setting thing. It's a ton of money. It would only be more expensive. The longer you wait, the contracts go up. Period.
As long as
that's just how it works.
For sure. As long as it doesn't blow up in his face, and we could talk about ways that might happen or how it would happen in a second. But as long as it doesn't, it feels ingenious. It feels ingenious because you've got quarterback and another wide receiver on a rookie deal. You've got another wide receiver who you're probably going to let go after 1 year.
DJ Moore today gave some credence to maybe paying Keenan, but I will still be very surprised if they do that.
But to your point about the numbers only go up, by the time it's time to pay Caleb Williams and hopefully Rome Odunze, DJ Moore's deal should be a little bit more manageable than being where it is now at the top of the wide receiver scale. Right? In 3 years and in 4 years, we look at it and oh no, that's a surprisingly good deal, which is what we did when DJ Moore got traded here. Yes. We looked at it and we're like, my God, that deal is actually quite affordable. Thank you very much, because the timing of it all.
And it all helps. Cost certainty helps. Knowing what you're going to pay a guy, knowing that you've got a franchise caliber wide receiver that you don't have to give the franchise tag to helps. Now, you know what DJ Moore can do in 2 years? He can restructure. Because the money. Hey, DJ, we'd actually like you to lower your cap hit 2 years from now because we need to pay Darnell Wright a contract extension. So can we convert your salary into a signing bonus? And we'll give you it as a lump sum, but then you'll make less money per week, but we'll cut you a check for 15, 20 million bucks to help us out with the cap. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. No,
I'm happy.
Yeah, no problem. I'm happy to do that because you guys took care of me early.
Right.
And I've got a bunch of money now. I got a bunch of money saved. And so like cost certainty in a salary cap sport like that, it matters a lot. There are some teams that use the franchise tag once every 5, 6, 7, 8 years because there's no one that they need to use it on.
Because they're crafty like
Because they're crafty like it. Mm-hmm. Or like, some teams will use it on a kicker. They'll be like, yeah, we'll just give it to a kicker because it's a one-year thing. It's like a relief pitcher. It can be kind of volatile, and we don't want to commit long-term. Locking up elite players at premium positions a year early is always good business unless they rupture their Achilles.
Now,
like that's like the only way.
So rupturing the Achilles and early because all the guaranteed money is happening in the first few years of the deal.
Yeah, but this is yes, exactly. Now, if he ruptures his Achilles and he never comes back to being 100%, then it can blow up in your face.
Uh-huh.
But all of the guys that they have signed, Jalen, Cole Kmet, Montez Sweat, DJ Moore, Tremaine Edmonds. These are all dudes in their mid-20s.
Yeah, they're signing guys in their athletic prime.
25,
now,
26, 27 years old. This is not an old team.
Danny, I've been around a long time. I remember when the White Sox locked up the likes of Eloy Jimenez and Luis Robert and Yohan Moncada to deals that I praised. Oh, did we praise? Look at the prescient contract signings here. Look at them getting out in front. And so how is this different? Quality of player, known entities is the first thing. It's a very known entity in DJ Moore, whereas with Eloy and with others it was not. And also salary cap and non-guaranteed deals.
Cost certainty is a huge piece of this in football. And that's the biggest difference. There's no arbitration system in the NFL. There is a franchise tag system and all of that, but it's basically just this is a great player in his athletic prime who we know and like his character that we are going to lock up and not have to worry about. Man, ask a Cowboy fan how their offseason was. With Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb, and Dak Prescott, none of them signed. None of them signed. Ask a Niners fan how training camp is going with Trent Williams and Brandon Ayuk having contract problems right now and various stages of like they're having a franchise left tackle holding out and Brandon Ayuk demanding a trade.
And they're freaking out because of the apocalypse that's coming coming next year.
With Purdy.
Yeah.
And having to pay him. Right, but it's just
the abrocalypse.
I believe that's what it's called.
I believe it's an
abrocalypse. But this is just I didn't see it coming.
No, it's interesting because Drew Rosenhaus has been in camp all week.
I know, and
Drew Rosenhaus famously had the King from Burger King as his client. That's when I did a one-on-one with Drew Rosenhaus at Super Bowl Radio Row. He also has other clients, including DJ Moore.
Yeah.
And so he was there to work this out. DJ gets a $20 million signing bonus, like today.
Amazing.
Here you go.
Yeah.
That's nice.
that would be fun. It'd be fun to have that hit the direct deposit.
No, but it feels like we've got a guy. Robert in Naperville said, isn't it nice to have a Bears GM who is smarter than a bag of hammers? Like we're used to guys who basically have been bags of hammers in some way. Ryan Poles is aggressive and out front on this.
Yeah, it's a proactive thing. And think about like the Khalil Mack trade, which I celebrated. But they gave up a record-setting amount of capital for a defensive player and gave him a record-setting contract. That's the definition of buying the top. You know, like when they traded for Montez Sweat, you traded a premium pick and you signed him. That's a pretty premium way to do it. This
is part of your number one overall heist for Bryce Young of Carolina, in addition to Tyreek Stevenson and everything else that you got with that.
Darnell Wright and Caleb Williams and next year's second. Like DJ Moore was just a piece. He was a big piece, but just a piece of that trade, and you signed him early. Like the efficiency of acquiring a number one receiver and locking him up and keeping him here, it just shows a ton of foresight and planning into the future that a lot of teams do not have with star players. It's super common for it to go the other way.
You know, and DJ is a dude. We know that DJ is a guy who is not a diva and has admitted as such. Remember last year's kerfuffle about the targets? And he's like, I'm just not that guy, you know? Because I think a lot of wide receivers would have waited one more year and then done it next year and tried to hold it out for maximum discomfort and maximum cash in. And DJ's not that guy. So they found a way to work on it. It's a beautiful thing for the best sports story in town to continue.
By far.